Many years ago, in a small village in the land that is now called Nigeria, there lived an old farmer named Musa. Musa was a kind man with a big heart. Even though he did not have much, he would always share what little he had with others in the village who were less fortunate. One day, while working in his yam field, Musa dug up something strange. It was a large clay pot that looked very old and was covered in strange symbols and markings. He had never seen anything like it. Musa tried to lift the heavy pot, but could barely move it. So he rolled it to the edge of his field with great effort. Then he ran to get help from some young men in the village to carry it home. When the young men saw the strange pot, they were frightened and refused to touch it. "That pot is from the spirit world. Do not bring such evil into our village," they cried. But Musa could feel that the pot was special. He gently explained, "This pot fell onto my land from the sky gods above. I believe it is a gift. We should not judge it based merely on how it looks before we know its purpose." The young men shook their heads and walked away. But Musa did not lose faith. He prayed and asked his ancestors for the strength to carry the heavy pot home. Miraculously, Musa found he could now lift it with ease and balance it comfortably on his head to walk the long distance back. When Musa returned, the village elders gathered to see the strange pot. Like the young men, they were frightened of its unknown origins and power. "Bury that pot far away and never speak of it again," the elders shouted. They warned terrible curses would befall anyone foolish enough to tamper with a spirit pot. Musa refused to panic or make rash judgments. He calmly suggested, "Elders, let us first discover this pot's purpose before deciding what to do." He slowly turned the pot upside down. To everyone's surprise, plenty food such as roasted meat, fine stew, fresh fruits and baked breads rolled out of the mysterious pot. Mysterious but yet divine trays of food floated out of the magic pot, each flowing with enough tasty and delicious food to feed the entire village for a day. For the first time in their lives, there was enough food for all, with even more left over. The people rejoiced with singing and dancing around Musa and his magic calabash. The elders bowed deeply to Musa and thanked him for his wisdom. From then on, whenever the village exhausted the meals of the day, Musa simply tipped the magic calabash over again, and out came another bountiful feast. Soon word spread to tribes far and wide of the small village in the jungle, with food that never ends. Travelers journeyed for months by foot, horse and boat to partake of the legendary feasts. Musa welcomed everyone with a smiling face. He made sure no visitor went hungry, for there was enough for all. In time, the village grew crowded. Some voiced concern whether their little village could sustain so many visitors coming to be fed every day. But the magic calabash continued providing daily feasts, with more than enough leftovers to feed the growing village too. Musa suggested, "Brothers and sisters, let us share our good fortune with our neighbors. Just as we were once small and struggling, so too are other villages." The people agreed this was wise, and so portions of meat, yams, peppers and fruits were packed up in baskets as gifts to smaller villages everywhere. Even chiefdoms with once grand feasts came seeking the fortune in Musa's calabash, humbled by 3 years of famine. As news continued spreading, a vain and greedy king from afar heard tales of the endless feasts. He simply refused to believe such witchcraft could come from simple jungle villagers and meager calabash pots. So the king gathered his royal procession and set sail down the Niger River to expose this scam of poor people deceiving their betters with magic that doesn't exist. He dubbed them cheaters of the calabash. As his golden barge docked at the village, he expected to see desperate faces filled with fraud and lies. Instead, the people warmly welcomed him with melodies from stringed congomas and laughter from exuberant dancers. They bowed graciously before the fancy king and spoke eloquently of their most esteemed royal guest. The clever king kept one eye squinted in doubt as Musa led him to the village center, where cows roasted over open flames, vegetables stirred in steaming pots and fruits juggled in talented hands. Could this magic calabash truly summon endless feasts from thin air? The aroma of seasoned palm oil chicken flooded the king's nose, causing his mouth to water. but he dared not indulge in the witch foods of this jungle hovel. Just then, Musa tipped over the clay pot before the very eyes of the king. Out floated a glorious feast 2 times bigger than the previous meals. An elaborate table lined with colorful textiles appeared. Larger-than-life platters were heaped with seared meat skewers in peanut sauce, coconut yollof-infused rice, fried eggplant in red stew, savory moin moin bean cakes, and an assortment of tropical fruits. The presentations and smells overwhelmed the pompous king. Never had his royal kitchens produced such heavenly meals fit for deities. Unable to resist temptation, the king devoured platter after platter, stopping periodically only to sip fine palm wine from golden chalices. Smacking his lips with greasy fingers, the king's belly filled with more satisfaction than ever known. Burping up gases of gratitude, the king wiped his oily mouth and pointed a bony finger at Musa. "You, keeper of the calabash! You have fed me the finest meals ever tasted. Name your heart's desire, and you shall have it." Musa bowed graciously, clasped his hands in supplication, and responded, "Your Highness, the people of my village ask only to live in peace and good health. We seek neither riches or greatness, just the basic comforts that allow time for joyful living. My only wish is for our magic calabash to sustain this way of life forever." The king was astonished at such selfless thinking. In his world of royal greed and vanity, never had he encountered simple people wanting so little materialism, yet filled with such generosity and contentment. He observed elder villagers strolling leisurely with grandchildren giggling on their backs, farmers dancing playfully while harvesting fields, children running barefoot to fetch water at the stream, returning with glorious smiles, as if enjoying the journey itself. The wrinkles here revealed not frowns of hardship and toil, but smiles of a people who awoke daily to embrace life itself. For 7 sunsets, the king's procession lingered in this strange village, delaying his urgent return to the castle. On the 7th night, beneath sparkling skies, the jungle air vibrated with gentle drumbeats. Villagers sat around fires telling colorful tales of Anansi the spider, singing traditional songs from ancestors long gone, and reciting great epics of old. The longer the king stayed, the lighter his shoulders felt. Golden visions filling his mind were no longer urgent ambitions to grow his kingdom through battles waged, but rather gentle scenes of his youth chasing butterflies in open meadows, wading through lily-pad ponds, napping peacefully beneath trees on sunny days as his mother hummed nearby. That night the king smiled gratefully and wept tears of soulful joy, feelings buried since innocent boyhood long ago. The morning sun rose brightly into cloudless skies when the royal procession pushed their golden barge back into flowing waters towards home. As the oars sliced the Niger's surface, the king waved fondly towards Musa, standing at the edge of the village, surrounded by his people, proudly guarding their magic calabash. From that day forward, the Jungle King ordered his royal kitchens emptied and throne room transformed into a feast hall for his subjects. The golden chairs and lavish decor were replaced with simple benches and bare floors where all were welcome to fill bellies. And every year as the Niger River rose with rainfall, marking the first moon, the king sent royal barges back to Musa's blessed village. Heaped upon them were invitation scrolls for everyone to join 10 days of feasting and dancing at his kingdom in their honor, to celebrate the boundless fortunes granted by their magic calabash. As for Musa and his people, they lived simply and continued welcoming the world with open hearts to share wealth from their eternal clay pot. Folks say if you journey deep into the jungles of Nigeria and find the remote village still guarded by its magical calabash, and if your spirit fills with care for others before self, a magnificent feast will surely await you there as well. If you enjoyed this story, support our channel by giving this video a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Stay optimistic and see you next time.